Ask any millennial what their thoughts on Toy Story 3 are, and they're likely to start sobbing. It's considered one of the most emotional films, and for some, Pixar's best. As I've demonstrated in my previous 2 videos, the Toy Story franchise has had a rough track record with troubled productions. While Toy Story 3's is relatively tame in comparison, I feel like it's still worth talking about, even if it results in a shorter video. This is the story of the production hell of Toy Story 3. When Toy Story 2 was released in 1999, it was a critical and commercial success. Perhaps more so than its predecessor, it cemented Pixar's reputation as the new kings of animation. Unlike Toy Story 2, plans for a third film were put on the back burner. Pixar had their hands tied making more classic films, and Disney was having their own struggles. As per their contract with Pixar, Disney owned the rights to all Toy Story characters and the ability to make a sequel without them. In the mid-2000s, the tension between the two companies caused speculation that the two may split. Pixar was reaching the end of their 5-film deal with Disney and were thinking of going independent. Michael Eisner pushed forward plans for a third Toy Story in 2004. Disney chose animation company Circle 7 to produce it. For those unfamiliar, Circle 7 was the computer animation company Disney created to emulate Pixar. The sequel was planned to start production in 2005 with a 2008 release date. The Circle 7 version of the film went through 2 different phases. The first, written by Teacher's Pet writers Bill and Sherry Steinkeller, involved the toys being sent to Andy's grandmother's attic. The toys get stolen, with some being considered collectible, and Woody conducts a whodunit investigation. This idea was rejected by Disney, but considered for a 4th installment. Back to the drawing board, Circle 7 hired Meet the Parents writer Jim Hertzfield to write the new plot. This one involved Buzz Lightyear malfunctioning and being sent back to Taiwan for repairs. Woody and friends follow to rescue him. Buzz meets toys from around the world who were also recalled for various reasons. While these concepts seem like they could have made for entertaining ideas, a lot of fans were skeptical towards whether or not this could have been any good. Circle 7 showed off the sequel ideas at SIGGRAPH 2005 to some confused reactions. It was clear that the 3rd installment was at risk of being too much of a deviation from the previous 2. Fans were hoping that Pixar would take back control. Luckily, this would happen within just a couple of short years. I could make a video about all the struggles Disney was facing during the 2000s. Their 2D animated films were getting ripped to shreds and not making enough money for Disney Animation Studios to stay afloat. Many of the decisions made by Michael Eisner during this era proved to be a near-fatal blow. It was clear that Pixar knew more of what they were doing, so Disney decided to try to save their relationship with them by purchasing them in 2006 and placing John Lasseter and Ed Catmull in charge of Walt Disney Animation. This was a wise decision for both companies. It was decided to transfer production back to Pixar. Ultimately, they decided to ditch all elements explored by Circle 7. Lasseter, Andrew Stanton, and Lee Unkrich visited the house where the original Toy Story was pitched and laid out the groundwork. Stanton ended up writing the script. Lasseter was preoccupied with his new position and was busy directing Cars 2, so he hired Unkrich as director. Unkrich felt pressure during this time, as every Pixar film up to this point was a critical and commercial success. Pixar made their first reports of the film's new plot in 2008, giving fans a big sigh of relief. Animation for the film presented new challenges. Pixar looked through the files of the original films. What they found was when they tried to update the original character models, error messages would appear as the files were no longer compatible with the updated software. Extra time was used to make new character models. A team was hired to spend an entire year at a junkyard, studying how it functions in order to make the film's climactic scene more convincing. From here, the production actually went much more smoothly than the previous 2 films. Maybe it wasn't full-out production hell, but the film did have its troubles. You can't really discuss the first two films' struggles and not discuss the struggles of the third film. Toy Story 3 opened in the summer of 2010 to massive critical success, a gross of over $1 billion, and not a dry eye in any of the theaters. Seriously, I went to see this on opening weekend before having to go to work. When I showed up for work, my boss thought I was sick. That's how red my eyes were from crying. Now, not enough time has passed to properly cover Toy Story 4, so that's gonna be on the back burner. I gotta say that it's inspiring to see how Pixar persevered through these films. I've been having a tough time with my significant other in my day job, which put a strain on my ability to get these videos done. However, seeing how Pixar pushed through these struggles, I found myself keeping my motivation. This quote from the first film especially helps me.
This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
Sometimes what you perceive to be a failing process is actually the very thing that becomes your success. The way people see you gracefully make a landing when you almost crash is more inspiring than just simply watching someone take flight. And ultimately, that's what I took away from this. That's about it for this video. Join me next time when I cover a film whose production was so troubled it resulted in the deaths of 3 actors. See you later.